Stephen Kelly's with us now, but we did want to bring you this. This is Jose Mourinho, and he reckons we'll finish top 4 this season. Have a look.
How many teams, realistically, do you think can win the title?
4. Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, and Man City B team. When I look at the bench yesterday, there was some images of the bench, and the players that were not even involved. I think even the B team could fight for the title.
Jose Mourinho making the Dublin football B team joke on Sky yesterday. Obviously paying a lot of attention. So he reckons that really Spurs have an opportunity to win the title this year, apart from Liverpool and Man City. Is he right? The Spurs, are they good enough? Is their squad deep enough?
They have made improvements, and they brought on players that will push players in the positions that have. It's going to. I think a lot of people made note of it, how Eriksen was so influential from the weekend and keeping hold of him. Now with the window still not being closed in like Spain and places like that, if he still is a target for those big clubs, Tottenham need to do everything they can to hold on to him. Like, I'd be just trying to tie him down to the longest deal as possible. I'd be offering him everything, because when you look at statistically, there's almost no one in the league that offers the same amount of assists and is influential in a game than he is. So he's huge, and if they can keep hold of him, they'll have a great chance of progressing and doing well this season. Harry Kane getting 2 on the first day of the season. He's going to score goals. So if you can keep him on the pitch as well, they have a great chance. It's just the level that Man City and Liverpool set last season, and they've started off again. People always say the season's like a marathon, it's not a sprint, but these have started off like Usain Bolt. Like, it's unbelievable. Everybody's gone for the first game of the season. Like, it's out of traps that we're going to win this league today. So it's phenomenal to think that these teams have started off so well and so quick, with all their top scorers getting on the score sheet. Everybody's probably in contention for the Golden Boot has almost scored yesterday in the first day of the season. People were
multiple goals, yeah.
Yeah, multiple goals, yeah. So if the season continues like this, I thought last year was probably going to be hard to beat, for the sense of 2 teams going for it. If this season is anything to go by after the first game, you're going, well, what premiership?
Well, where would the Manchester City B team finish? 3rd?
You would think, yeah, you think Liverpool would be better than them because of how good Liverpool are, but you think they'd push Tottenham. Do you think they would push Tottenham? Like, there's some of the players they have at their disposal at that club, and it's not just the players they have at disposal, it's the manager that'd be taking charge of them. So if Pep Guardiola was taking that team as well, you'd be thinking he just demands the best, and he has such a good knowledge of how to get the best out of his players, and for them all to respect him so much. So yeah, I think they'd be more consistent than probably Man U would be, but like, who knows in Manchester United, because on paper they could be anybody really. It's just, like I said, if they're consistent enough.
With Christian Eriksen, do you think that there was a situation of, oh, look at this shiny thing over here, when it came to the likes of Philippe Coutinho and Paulo Dybala, that actually there was just a complete lack of appreciation over the past month or so about how good Christian Eriksen is right now?
I honestly think, I don't think Tottenham would have wanted him to go, but I think the problem Tottenham had is that he's been linked with so many big clubs, they felt like he was going to go. I wouldn't have thought Tottenham would have wanted him, or would have in any way felt like he was a player that they were happy to sell.
Sure. It
was more the fact that he was being linked with Real Madrid and Manchester United to some extent, that they thought, we can't hold on to him because we're in a position where if Real Madrid actually make a play for him, he's going to go. So they were positioning themselves to bring in players that can replace him. Realistically, would those players replace what he gives to them? Probably not. Even though they're fantastic footballers, they probably don't offer the same as what he does in a team that he's embedded in and understands the workings of it, and seems to have a very good working relationship with the manager, a connection with Kane and the other players that they're Ali. So they seem to just knit well together. Holding on to him will be absolutely imperative for Tottenham to progress and do well, and especially with them not bringing someone else in to replace him.
We should talk about Arsenal. They've won at St James's Park. We don't know yet what kind of difficulty it's going to be to go to St James's Park this year, but Arsenal always not a team you would back at St James's Park to win games.
No.
Well, you talk about like a season being a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah. I think Arsenal were in full marathon mode, saying let's just jog here out of the blocks for a little while, because that was a pre-season team.
Yeah, they didn't. I have to. Aubameyang, so his movement and some of the runs he made, there was a time Mkhitaryan went through him, clip over the ball, but his run just to go across the defender and then peel off the back, he just looks again, someone that you would say 100% is going to be contention for the Golden Boot. So Arsenal have got already a player there that is going to get them 20 plus goals this season. And then if Pepe comes in and can produce going forward, they look like a good side. It's just defensively, Arsenal, are they going to be reassured? And is David Luiz going to fill that void that they've been missing?
Do you think?
I got my question marks because he's like I said, like I say all the time about him, he can be very good, but then he's also capable of doing something crazy. And the way the season started and the way last season finished, teams don't seem to have an opportunity to slip up for 3 or 4 games because you'd be left behind and then the catch up is hard. So if Arsenal do that, they're going to struggle.
Yeah, so I don't think Arsenal are title contenders at all, but in terms of getting back into the Champions League, like their squad is good enough now. The manager's in the second season, they have invested the way they haven't in previous years. They've still got they've got the bones of a Champions League team, right?
Yeah, they do have the bones of a Champions League team, but then there's 6 teams that have that. So it's going to be whether Arsenal are good enough to compete with those teams and whether they can be consistent enough to actually get up there. But you would think it's going to be Chelsea are going to, they're not going to struggle, but they're going to have to find their feet quite quickly in this league.
It's a good chance for Arsenal to get ahead of Chelsea and get into the Champions League. Yeah. And then Man United are the other team that they need to really target.
Yeah. You would think Tottenham, Liverpool and Man City, they're the ones that are going to get into that top 4 position based on managers, consistency and the squad being, all the squads have been benefited by bringing in a couple of fresh players, minus probably Liverpool, who haven't really brought anybody in at all. Man United, Arsenal have brought players in and are trying to do the right things. It's just whether or not they can actually be consistent enough to get into that position. And Chelsea then are in a transition where they're trying to bring in a lot of young players, and they have signed a few more players, but they've lost the best player, probably one of the best players ever to play at the club.
Stephen, I have one more thing I want to talk to you about. Pat Nevin caused massive controversy for us when he was talking. He did the Newcastle Arsenal game, and he was talking about Kieran Tierney's credentials, comparing them to another Scottish fullback, Andy Robertson, and he came down very strongly on one side of the debate. So here he is, have a look.
I talked to a number of managers in the Premier League and said, "I've got a player for you, just buy him now. It's costing you 11, 12, 13 million, but get him." And they all said, the odd look, and they all went, I don't know. And I said, buy him. And they didn't. So Van Dijk goes to Southampton instead of going to Chelsea where I thought he should go, or whatever, Man United. And I couldn't believe it. I was just, it's staring you in the face. It's so clearly, and if you played a bit and you know the game a bit, every Celtic fan knew fine well how good he was. Tierney's the same. Yeah, and he's that quality. And now I watched Robertson at Liverpool. He's a great player. He's fantastic. Who would I have between Robertson and Tierney? I'd have Tierney, without even waiting. And that's taking nothing away from Robertson. Robertson's brilliant. Tierney's a better all-round player. Tierney play left centre back, left of a 3, left back, right back. He play any of them, and he play any of them brilliantly. If he gets over the current injury, they tell me that's 4 or 5 weeks away yet. He's got a long and fabulous career. The biggest downside is really for the Celtic fans. They'll miss him massively. 25 million. When he goes next time, it's well over double that. So that's a shame, but there's nothing. That's not Celtic's fault.
Yeah, so a ringing endorsement for Kieran Tierney as somebody who can play right across the back 4 and ahead of Andy Robertson at this point.
It's a big statement, considering Andy Robertson was probably the best left back in the world last season. Like, he really was. He had, for me as a fullback, he offered everything. His defending ability, his positioning sense, his tenacity in the tackle. He's aggressive, but then going forward as well, he was relentless. Like, for the whole season, he was always in a position to cross the ball, be at the far post. Just the only thing I didn't see him do was really try to shoot, had an effort on goal. And I don't know whether, I'm not sure it's lacking in confidence, but, you know, you see Alexander on the other side, anytime he gets into the box, he's happy to have a strike, so he's probably more confident in his striking ability. That's the only thing I would say that Robertson didn't really do last year, but overall he was the best left back world over for what I saw it. And as a former fullback, I understand how important they are and their role is this season. So for Tierney to be put on that pedestal beside him, when like I said, I wouldn't have seen enough of him to be able to compare him or to say that, but I'd say he's probably got a long way to go to get to those levels.
High praise though.
It's high praise, yeah. And if you've seen him that often and he really feels that about him, then you're probably in for the making of an unbelievable player, and this Premiership could be fantastic for him.
Yeah, so Arsenal really should be thinking about qualifying for the Champions League.
There you go,
Like just on that, like it's interesting when you're talking about the top 4 credentials and all that. You mentioned managers. Like is Unai Emery in the top 4 when it comes to managers? Because like you'd fancy him against Frank Lampard and Solskjaer, perhaps, given their newness to the game.
Yeah, just based on the fact of what he's done in the game, and even last year you could see what he was trying to do with Arsenal, and there was glimpses of it and of how he's trying to get them to play and set up, and there's some of the big decisions he was able to make throughout the season, like Ozil and that. So he's been around long enough. He has a good understanding. His experience is there, and he's got time. He seems to have a little bit of time with Arsenal to embed and trying to put his philosophy down and his playing style. And you would think, based on what he's done before, he would be in a better position than Solskjaer and Lampard, like I said, because of his experiences. And this is his second season now into the Premiership, so he understands it a bit more. And the couple of signings they've brought in can definitely benefit them. But I think Aubameyang is a gem, and if you can keep him fit on the pitch, just the way he moves off the ball as a defender, he'd be horrible to play against, because he's always off your shoulder, and he gives that whole thing of one run for you and one run for the defender. He does that, and it's not nice to play against.
Stephen, good stuff. Thanks very much for joining us.
Great, thanks.
Not a bad opening weekend.